Hi, I'm Adam Smith. Welcome to my S6 tutorials. Basically, thank you very much. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for purchasing and upgrading to Select Series 6. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through what has changed for my build of Select Series 6, and that will sort of supplement the files that already exist, well, the tutorials that already exist for Select Series 5. I'm going to kick off with the modeling toolbar. The modeling toolbar has had a little bit of shuffling around, and you can see that I have two new buttons down the bottom here. Effectively, one is classing, auto classing, so we do automatic display classing, automatic area classing. We can also delete or clear any existing ones, so if you've got old projects and you want to clear everything out. The thought process behind this is that it will populate the display classes for you, and anything that it doesn't know where it goes, it actually will leave it behind for user input. So I hope that makes sense. This isn't going to be bulletproof, okay, in every instance. I understand and respect that. The idea is that it saves you most of the time and does most of the work for you on most projects. Okay, so I do respect and understand that it won't do absolutely everything, because it's a tall ask. But let's just run it up now and see how it goes. So in this particular project, this is an old project that I've just opened up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear everything out, because it's I don't know what area classes that I used to have on this, and it's not important to me now. So I go through and I will auto display class. Right, and you can see that it's come up with a message and said, look, it's incomplete, there is some stuff left behind, I don't know what they are and I don't know where they go, and it has placed them on class number 13 for me to deal with. Alright, so in this instance here, I would go up to my display classes. Number 13 is other. Okay. So in this instance here, I have a box cutter, and I would want that on other. I don't want that detailing. Other is stuff that doesn't get detailed. I also have some what looks to be cast-in bolts here, all right, that it doesn't quite know what to do with. And in this instance here, they will be panel accessories. So I will manually, just the way that I always have, I will manually add these in. Okay, so really the context of it is that it's supposed to do most of our work for us. Okay. In this instance here, I absolutely sort of strongly encourage you to go through and check all your other classes. So in this instance, just for now, I'm just going to throw those on there just to get rid of them. But toggle them on and off and make sure that everything in here, so the standard procedure always has been, whatever we put on hold down bolts, we would come and we would create a part list just on screen, so that we can just make sure that it's the right material grades and so forth. So in this instance here, are they all hold down bolts? Are they all the right grades? Do they get the right names, etc., etc.? So just please be careful of that. Okay, don't just assume because you've done something automated that it's going to be perfectly correct. Okay, it's your responsibility to take responsibility for your own projects to a certain degree. Okay, this will do most of the work for you. Bolts, again, come in. I will do an on-screen material list. And make sure all the bulk grades and correct and everything are correct. You don't want any blanks in here anywhere for the material grade as an example, because it won't get a mass. So it's very important that we follow up with all this sort of stuff. Okay, I can see that. Look here, there's some purlin bolts here. Okay, that have snuck in as an example. Okay, So, I don't know whether I've added those later and they didn't get a number or so forth, but in your project, you don't want that. That's not what you're after, okay, is leaving blanks and so forth behind. All right, so please carefully check your projects and just go through, check each one of these, are they fittings? All right, now this auto classing, that'll do a pretty good job of these. These things here, see, I can tell you that they are programmatically, I've filtered those out to be a fitting. I can tell you that they are actually cast in to the concrete tilt panel. So I actually, during my checking, I would have picked up on that and gone, whoa, they are not supposed to be in here. This guy here is not supposed to be in here. He's a cast-in plate. All right. So please don't just assume that everything's going to be correct. All right. What have we got here? I've got some ferrules here. These are ferrules. Okay. They have come out as the original shape that it was created as. Okay. Although it is going to come out in the material list as a ferrule, that shouldn't be in here. That's a cast-in thing. So I just trying to give you an example, guys. It's not going to be absolutely bulletproof because I simply can't achieve that. Okay, so I've tried to get it to do most of the stuff for you, so please be careful. Please check your work. Okay, please don't ring me up yelling at me if you didn't check your work. Okay, righto, that aside, I'm going to turn all these guys back on again. Okay, these classes will only work if everything's turned on. Okay, I can't class something if you've got it turned off or frozen. I hope you understand that. All right, so area classes. Again, what it's asking me here, have I grouped everything? Of course, I have to have everything grouped. It's no point doing this process if you're only halfway through a project. Okay, because you're going to end up with incomplete groups and so forth. Okay, so yes, in this instance, I have grouped everything. So I'm going to let it go. And you can see that everything disappeared here. All right, so it's got some instances there. I've got some corner brackets and so forth that really it doesn't know what to do with. Okay, so these might be site fittings as an example. Okay, I don't have an automatic assignment of site fittings. All right, it's really up to you as a user. See these things here. I'm just going to get rid of this for a sec, hide that, and let's just render that up for just a little second. Hopefully it will be okay on the video. Okay, that is a site fitting, goes to site. All right, so it won't know what to do with that. Also bear in mind, okay, things like tilt panels and so forth are only available in our display classes. So they get toggled. Tilt panels get toggled on and off in our display classes, so there's no real area class or that sort of thing. All right, this guy here though, he's a welded truss. Okay, so in this instance here, it wouldn't have any idea what to do with that. It's a welded truss, doesn't know what to do with it. These guys here are cast in. All right, so they'll only be available in a single part. I don't detail that stuff at a group level, these sort of things. So, this guy here, you might want to have him as a site fitting or so forth. That's what you may choose to put it on. All right, there's going to be a little bit of poetic license on your behalf with this. The idea is you can see though all the common items, all your columns, all your rafters, or your posts, or your beams, they will disappear. Okay, it'll do most of the work for you, which will be pretty good. Okay, it does a pretty good job and it's really fast. So I hope it works really well for you. I've tested it fairly thoroughly and it seems to do a pretty good job, in most instances that I can find so far that I've tested it with. So that's these guys here. Hopefully they'll make your life a little bit happier. The next one down is purlin tools. These are brand new for my S6 build. They include The standard creation of purlins, that's just the ProSteel tool to stop you, that's this guy here, to stop you having to go hunting for it. I've just put a shortcut here for it. And I've got them laid out the way that you would procedurally do your job. So you lay out the purlins, you would put the laps on the purlins, and then you would put your bridging in. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a little project that just so I can lay a roof out on it. It's something pretty funky, but I'll show you quickly how to lay out a roof structure. This was for an old project that I did. So just going to, I've put some structural steel in. Okay, they're just a couple of UBs. Now use a tip if I can give you one. They have to be all the same size object. Okay. The method I'm about to show you, if you don't make them the same size object, it puts them in based on the centroid of the object, which means it's going to actually put your purlins in crooked. If you had this guy here over on the right was a different size to the final one over on the left, if I could give you an example, I would just say make a copy of the one end and just use it as a dummy up the other end, if that makes sense. I hope that sort of makes sense. In this instance, for the example, mine is all the same. So I'm just going to lay my purlins out first. Okay, if you follow the command line, you can see that specify the lower left and upper right, which is the old school way, or escape for the secondary B. So I'm just going to hit escape, choose my two rafters. Go to your templates if you want to lay out your templates, okay, but I can tell you that this will be fine for this instance, and it plonks it in. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that at the moment. Just going to go into plan view here. Just a couple of user tips that a lot of people don't kind of think too much about is stretching. Okay, you can do this in AutoCAD and the MicroStation version, is stretch all these out to where they've got to go. You know, it doesn't all need to be perfect. Okay, and another little user tip for this kind of doing this kind of work, just going to get rid of those guys there because they're not needed, but another little user tip when it comes to this sort of stuff is the modify. I can actually do a straight cut. Okay, so what I could do is I could cut back at a line, multiple objects, but use a straight cut. So if I selected all those guys as an example, okay, and the actual line, or you can see down the bottom here, line or point, I can go P for point. I want to cut from that corner to that corner, and it's going to say, well, what side? That is the waist. Okay, that is what I want to get rid of. So you can see in this instance here, I could actually buzz around P for point this job really quickly. That is the waist. Okay, and see it cuts them all back square, so I can grab all of those guys there and that guy, P for point, bang, bang, waist side. Okay, with a few little, that'll update itself if I go to the properties of it, hopefully. Maybe not. It's interesting. Bug, probably. And you can run around and you can trim all these guys up. Okay, so a little user tip there for you. Little word of warning: don't P for point. Don't make waist side. That's interesting. Don't make these guys here. Don't leave it too long. Like if I wanted to cut, just I'll give you an example here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide these up. I'm just by 500, divide all of those guys about there. If I try to trim that guy back, see how the waist is longer than what's going to be left? What'll end up happening is the software will still think that that's the side I want. So where I'm going with this, just make sure whatever you're going to trim off is shorter than what the residual is. I hope I've sort of explained myself. okay there. So in this instance, I'll just drag those back and then it will perform quite happily to cut some stuff back. So a little user tip there, PIV point. Bang, bang. Hopefully that will work. Which it did. I got some yellow tails there, I don't know why. For now, it doesn't really matter. Okay, PIV point. Bang, bang. Waste. Okay. Alright. Now, so there are my purlins there with their funky little tails all over the place for whatever reason. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide them up. Okay, lap and drill. So this is the first of my new tools. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you lay purlins out pretty quickly. This guy here, purlin lap. So he's brand new for this year. We have got a couple of different tabs here. This purlin bridging is actually not to put bridging in, just so you know. It will actually just put a hole, like a center hole or something, depending, you know, if you've got some different types of bridging. All right, we'll probably end up getting rid of that. I wouldn't mind some feedback from some of the users. But on your initial setup, things to keep in mind, all right, is when I do my lapping, what sort of purlin bolts do you want to use in the laps? So in this instance here, I want to use 4.6 purlin, but just so you know, it doesn't always have to be 4.6 purlin. Okay, but just make sure you tick that on, and that tells it when it puts a lap in, it's going to put bolts in too. Over to purlin lap, I want to divide and drill, right? Lap and drill those centers with that sort of edge distance. All right, pretty easy. Select the drill command and select the ones you want to do and where you want to go. Now, what you'll see that will do, I'll just jump in aeroplane there for you. What you'll see, that's just done a ton of work for us. Okay, this was one of my most hated jobs within ProSteel, was lapping and drilling purlins. It's such a pain. So, you know, in this instance here now, please be intelligent with it. Again, it's not going to, you know, I'll work on this in time to try and, I guess, make it a little bit more bulletproof. But, you know, that guy there probably won't be lapped. Those guys there will be. So just try and sort of be a little bit smart about it. All right, about the things that won't end up being lapped. Okay, I can't make it too bulletproof. Okay, so just quickly, I mean, these bits are pretty easy. Go to there and then continue probably from that one. Off it goes. All right, so pretty easy peasy. I hope you find that is really beneficial to you. There's a lot of work has gone into this. And then the final thing with that is going to be obviously your purlin connection, so which is up here, purlin connection. Again, go to your templates. So I just I window the job. This is a couple. Window the job. Deselect those guys, right? So I want to hook those purlins up to those beams, and off it should go. All right. Don't forget to use your templates again. Okay, there'll be templates here for you to use. All right. So purlin cleat in this instance. All right. He's a C200, Z200. It'll be the same cleat. So he's pretty good, which means we've just lapped, drilled, bolted, and cleated all of our purlins in just while you've been watching, in the couple of minutes you've been watching. Now the final thing is, quite often all of this will be, you know, it might have AC brackets and so forth. I'll try and do something with that for Select Series 7, okay? But for now, if you want to hang stuff off it, back to your purlin drill, purlin lapping, the ends, all right? And this will just, anything that you select will just get lapped. Okay, now if you didn't want bolts on it, as an example, you can come out, untick your bolts. Okay, purlin ends. All right, just so you know, a little bit flexible. All right, I see they're going white there. That's my unreliable coders fixing stuff up. You can just, there we go, it's back again, back to the right color. Okay, and that'll drill the ends at 35 in so we can hang stuff from it or put a GP bracket or whatever. So very, very quick to smash out roofs now with that kind of stuff. And the final thing, obviously, is our bridging. Okay. Now, in the past, our bridging was done by our user shapes. So if we went to our user shapes, bridging, we're going to B for bridging. We used to have to put these guys in. I've mimicked this system, okay, for our bridging. Again, I'm going to just sort of reiterate, team, please be careful and check your work. Don't just assume when you smash this stuff in that happy days, I'm good to go. You know, please check that the software has actually put in the things that you want to put in. All right, because it is based on an algorithm, and sometimes the algorithm isn't perfect to the scenario that you personally might be using. Anyway, so off we go to bridging. We have a couple of different types. We have the standard roof, the standard wall, and then the apex. So the apex is the one that puts the turnbuckle in. It's the ridge bridging. Okay, the little turnbuckle that holds the two ridges of a like a portal together. All right. We're going to do a standard roof because that's what it is at the moment. It will go from an angled purlin to up on the roof line to down on the gutter, fascia, no problem at all. It'll do all that. If they're on different angles, it will cut it, no problem. I mean, this roof is fairly simple. So again, choose the type of bolt style you want. If it's a bolted, where it starts, where it finishes, has to be bolted. All right, the ones in the middle have got a clip. All right, they're a hook lock. But the ones on the ends do need bolting. So I'll just show you how this is going to work. In the grey here, you can see that the standard spacing of the bridging. All right, it's done straight out of the book. All right, if you've got to manually override it, you can do it. All right, if we get something curly, you can actually manually override the spacing. All right, generally speaking, though, I put it in here, and if I don't like it, I'll stretch it around. Pick the purlin at the upper end, which is sort of this guy, and you'll get a tick. Pick the one at the lower end. I'm going to go down to that guy because that guy probably won't reach it. Actually, if I want three, I beg your pardon. I'm going to pick one at the top, one at the bottom. Let's go to that guy just for fun. Left support and right support. Okay, tick OK, and in a perfect world, it should put your bridging in. And you can see that it's put it in with a bolt. Okay, purlin bolt, just like I've told it to. So this guy here, in theory, should be a bolt, and this is the lower end, so that'll be a clamp. So this one here should be a CB, intermediate bridging CB. Intermediate bridging CB. Okay, clamp bolted, perfect. Okay, so my developers are redeeming themselves a little tiny bit. All right. So just as an example, again, I'm going to go 3, this time on the upper side. So let's pick, just for fun, let's go him, and lower side, and left, and right, tick, and I'll pop those guys in, and then let's switch to 2 for the intermediates to go from there to there, left and right. Okay, tick. Okay, so I mean, you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful funky stuff here. It works really well. A lot of testing has gone into this, but don't assume it's right, please, team. All right, check to make sure. The next new feature I'd like to point out is we have revised the document center. The document center now has alphabetical as well as numerical. Again, it's limited, guys, by the amount of entries that we've got. So really, we only have sort of 3 revisions that we have room for. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit new. There's a template function now which allows us to put our clients in. So you know, standard methodology. Right click, create a new folder with your client name. Once you've got a new folder, then under the folder you can create the template as a specific job number or something, and allows you to refer back to it if you want to populate similar attributes over and over and over again. In the case where you have a new drawing per se, and you've put in a title block, so I'll just drop in a title block really quickly here, drop it into model space. In this instance here, if I wanted to populate this title block, I would come to the document center and choose the header size. So really just match your sheet size. I see it's an A1. Match that up with in here. You'll have an A1 there. You might have a whole heap of blocks within here, which is more than likely, but just go look for the A1. Okay, once you find the A1, tell it that, I'll just put a little something in here. There we go. Tell the A1, and then tell it to, I want to send it through to the, so I don't know whether you just saw it there, but it just populated. Okay, there's no reason we need to go to the drawing information, the old drawing information table anymore. The title block updater has been slightly revised. Probably a couple of tips if you're working with a Rev B as an example. Don't forget that this is the revision in the corner, and if you wanted to create a new copy, you'll have to tell it to create a new copy here. So there's actually kind of 3 locations there. But as usual, you can either overwrite the existing or you can create a new copy of the revisions. Other than that, that's about the only updates through here that I've got worthy of note. It all worked pretty well. I didn't have too much feedback from guys last year. They just said it was pretty good, but they needed some alphabetical and numerical, so that's what we've done. That works pretty good. The parts list control for the batch part list, just want to reiterate, guys, if you, I did have a question about S5, that's fine. S5, I haven't updated the parts list. They were all brand new for last year, so I have done a slight amount of tweaking for the bridging. That's about it, really. But just, I just wanted to reiterate that if you create your own, I do have the user ones in here for you to do, and you don't have to have the PDF go out into the detail folder. I like it in the detail folder because that's where my drawings go as well, but you can place it wherever you want. The other thing you'll notice is this has been no longer grayed out. Please note, now the reason why we didn't want to use this in the past is we've asked Bentley to add some functionality within here in the back end. Now they've done it for us, but we couldn't get it into the system before S6. We're hoping to have it for you by S7, no problem. The issue is that when you're creating a database, ProSteel enables in the back end error checking to compare the components against each other to make sure, you know, if you've got 2 components that are different, do they come up with a different number? And it comes up with an error. Okay, this does not allow for that error. It basically does no error checking. So really I prefer that you didn't use it, but we have kind of enabled it anyway, just for our own purposes, because in the future it'll be it really will be available. But what this allows you to do is create a database on the fly. It's really, really fast. Templates are the templates available in the part list creation, so that template is actually pulled through from up here. Templates. So that's actually pulled through from here. So, you know, if you had a couple of different formats that you kind of wanted to create templates with, you know, with bolts or without bolts or something like that, you can actually save the template within here and then pull that template in through here. All right, so that's the big changes for there that we've got, and really the only other sort of massive changes that I've pushed through for this year is with the detailing. All of the detail styles have been revised to suit Select Series 6, and really the big key ones that have had a lot of changes to them are actually the marking plan ones. So if I just quickly grab those marking plan ones, just so I can show you what I'm talking about here. The base plates is unchanged, vertical connections, horizontal. Those guys there are unchanged. Let's just get rid of those. Remove those guys. Elevations shows you the steelwork without girts or bridging. Okay, and it's actually filtered. They're filtered out, which means you can leave an entire model on. And I might actually show you this as an example where that will be fine. So let's take this project here as an example. I can leave everything turned on. You can see I've got handrails, I've got concrete, I've got hold down bolts, etc., etc. Just for this example, let's get rid of those doors. There we go. So if I were to say, righto, all of that project there, it's had its display classes done, which is important. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go, right, well, an ISO, I want the ISO not to show the, I don't want the ISO to show the purlins and girts because I believe they're irrelevant. Drop that on there. Now in the past what would have happened is everything that's in the model would actually come through, but if I go through to here now, come to this new isometric view, preview that, you'll actually see that only the steelwork and concrete is left, because that's really all I want to see on an isometric view. Okay, now you can see that everything has disappeared, really, that we don't want to have. Okay, so the filter system works really well. There's a couple of little bits and pieces of the handrails and things like that, because it kind of, I'll do a little bit of tweaking with that in time, but this is an old model, so the handrails may not have been assigned properly. But it works really well. I'm really happy with that. You know, if I pick a grid A as an example there, you know, it has girts on it. So come over to grid A, and we want load. Now, oh, it's got girt walls on it, so let's go girt walls. Okay. Grid A onto S6 girt walls. Hopefully this will happen a little bit quicker. Preview that. You can see all the steel has gone. Okay, and all I'm left with is my grids, girt walls. Okay, so a fair bit of work has gone into this. This is still very much in the preliminary stages. Now, something I have found, and I'm trying to resolve this before the next patch comes out, is these are brand new. You'll notice they're in the perfect position. Everything works absolutely stunningly. Okay, that's the girts going in the other direction. All right, you can see that realistically, at a pinch, this stuff really doesn't need moving around at all. One of the things I have found is if we want to edit them, like change these are actually part flags now, that they're not pos flags, they're actually a whole different animal. So, you know, if I needed to change the scale of this, as an example, to 1:50 to fit on the border, one of the problems that we seem to have at the moment is I can't batch do them. Now, this is a bug. Regrettably, because the rest of the drawing is stunning, I can't get it to update all of them. It only updates one at a time, so an absolute pain at the moment. But I'm hoping we'll have this resolved very quickly. In the future, when it is updated, you will edit one of them, and then from there you will be able to grab the rest. As an example, bring up the properties, edit, the selected parameters, I want to copy the object scale from that. I might have missed that, from that. Okay, and it'll update them all. So there is a bug here for some reason, and hopefully it will be fixed very promptly. So I'm really sorry about any inconvenience there. I hope when this is fixed, it will really pay dividends though. So because the presentation is stunning. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you again for your support this year. Working really hard on some big stuff for next year as well. So lots happening, lots to do.